David, another week, another big game. First of all though, how have the celebrations been, and were they quickly put to bed on Monday and said, that's it, that's gone, we now need to look at the next stage?
It was, very much so, but you also need to enjoy the moments as well. You know, the scenes after it. It was a brilliant ending to a fantastic week. You think back to the returning points, especially 3 very difficult games at any stage of a season, especially for where we are in the league and what we're going for, you know, to beat Celtic here. And then, you know, we could have the game against Dundee United, how well they've been, and the magnitude of that game for where we need to get to was a huge game from our point of view. And then to obviously finish by beating your local rivals at home, it was a special moment for the players after the game. The togetherness, again, you felt it after the game, and you need to enjoy the moments because they don't come around all the time. They are special moments, but then again, quickly coming back in, as you just touched on there on the Monday, was about right attention. We've not achieved anything other than a fantastic week to what we wanted to do, and the mindset then quickly changes towards it's away from league form, it's a Scottish Cup game, you know. And I always say at the start of every season, there's an opportunity to try and win a cup here, and clearly got a very difficult task ahead of us this weekend, but one, again, the players are going into it in a really good place, and the confidence and momentum still there, which is brilliant.
The season goals are still very much on though, and is that what you say to the players, because of that success last week, you can achieve what you set out to do in August?
Yeah, that is the challenge. The challenge is to keep moving forward as well. One thing we won't do is ever get carried away. That's something I've been very strong with the players. We need to keep moving forward, keep getting better, because we've come a long way in such a short period of time. We keep moving records and everything, so the run we've been on has been fantastic. But as you've just touched on, there's still a lot to play for between now and the end of the season, and the focus now goes towards that cup game, which is we go there with belief that we can do it. I say it all the time, you need to believe you can do it. If you don't believe you can do it, we're wasting our time even going along the M8, to be honest. So I think the players are aware of that. We'll take confidence for the last game, but you then can't go into the game thinking it's going to be any easier, because it certainly isn't.
Everybody seems to be using the word belief at Easter Road nowadays. 4 months ago, that word, you may have had it. I don't think many other people did have it, did they?
I think the noise on the outside was always going to be there, and rightly so, because of where we were, and we were going through a real difficult time. But I've said it for a number of weeks now, and you said, I'm glad you said that I did use that word, because I think I've been quite consistent with it all season. It was the players that gave me the belief all the time. So every day seeing them in training and wanting to improve and staying together and, you know, trying to improve every day and trying to move forward. And I was then able to demonstrate why I believed it would turn. So I think, all in all, that's where the rewards are coming from now, that we were managed to stick together during the difficult times, and then we're getting the rewards from it now, not just performance-wise, because some of the performances haven't been as good in recent weeks, but the momentum's with us, the confidence in the players is there, and then you get the crowd as well that are 100% behind us and really driving us on and getting us over the line as well. So that belief is something that the full football club's feeling at the moment, which is brilliant.
You gave Celtic a bloody nose 2 weeks ago. What do you expect them, and how do you expect them to respond?
As they always do, and by being, as they are, the best team in the league at the moment. They're Champions League footballers, we talk about it all the time. History tells you how difficult it is to go along there and win. I think it's 2010 or something since the last time we actually won there. I heard another stat about the last time we won there in the Scottish Cup, which was 1902 or something like that. So it's a difficult place to go and win, we know that, but for us to win the Cup, which is one of our objectives at the start of the season, we're going to have to do that. And the players can take confidence and belief, like I've already said, from the previous result, but we by no means think it's going to be any easier. We've been there a few times now, so at least the players know what they're walking into. But again, we need to be at the very, very top of our game to give ourselves the best possible opportunity.
You won the Cup in 1902.
Good wee woman to have, I suppose. Yep, well done.
Do you say that to the players, actually? You know, this is achievable. What you want to do is and get silverware. You're 1 game away from Hampden, you're 2 games away from having your photo blasted all around this training ground, all around Easter Road. Yeah,
of course it is. I think, you know, it's the magic of the Cup as well, isn't it? So if you even think back to the previous rounds with Queen's Park going to Ibrox, you know, before the game, the odds and what that would have been, and that's no disrespect to Queen's Park, but just because of where the two teams are in the league, and the history went with that game, the last time that Queen's Park had lost to Rangers or whenever that would be. So the Cup can do that, of course it can, but it's a one-off game. It's something we know we need to be our absolute best again, but we can take a lot of confidence where we've been already this season, and you know, we'll be going into the game with a game plan to try and win it, knowing that it'll be a difficult game. We can look at the games we played previously. Will Celtic do anything different? They're a top team, whatever 11 he puts out. they'll be full strength, as we'd imagine. They've not had the European in between, so it's not as if we're going into it thinking it's going to be any different, or just because we won the last game that it becomes an easier challenge, because it doesn't. It just means that we need to, again, be at the very top of our game and put a game plan together that gives us the best chance to win.
If you'd taken the chances last time you were in Glasgow, it could have been a very different outcome, couldn't it?
It could have been, yeah. So we took a lot of confidence from that as well. So when you think back to the game at Easter Road and then the differences when we were at Celtic Park, we probably created more chances at Celtic Park that day, but we were more clinical at home. But we defended better at Easter Road than we did at Celtic Park on that occasion, because we conceded, still lost the game 3-0. So a lot was made about the fact we were excellent in the game, and Kasper Schmeichel got man of the match that day, but we also lost the game 3-0, and I think there were still other moments in the game where Celtic wasted a few chances as well. So they can do that to anybody, we know that, and it takes, as I've already touched on there, a massive performance, a real collective performance from absolutely everybody to give us the best chance. But we're certainly going into it with a real good frame of mind.
You're quite a humble guy, David. You've always said that the praise should go to the players because it's them that's on the pitch, but your stock has risen as a manager in the last 4 months. You're now being linked with jobs in England. How does that make you feel, and about your future? Because you're an ambitious young guy as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I am ambitious, but I think it's a funny game, isn't it? You think back to this season on the whole and where we've been, and the line of work we're in, speculation, people speculating about, am I going to stay in a job for the most majority at the start of the season, and how quickly things changes when you put a good run together, and then there's other people talking about your job in another way, in a positive way. So listen, nothing changes from my point of view. I'm 100% focused on what I'm doing, because I've got the hardest thing in the world to try and do at the weekend, which is to try and get a game plan to go to Celtic Park and win, and that is all that's on my mind at the minute. I'm fully committed to what I'm doing here, and I'm 100% behind what we're trying to do here and moving forward.
There may come a time though when you might have a decision to make.
Well, we just need to keep winning games of football. That's all I'm interested in at the minute. And then if something then comes, whenever that does come, if it does come, if it doesn't come, I've already demonstrated already this season how quickly it can turn the other way. So I think it is about all moving forward and keep improving, because, as I've said for a number of weeks now, yes, we've improved, we're on a brilliant run, the history we're changing in a real positive way, but we need to guard against that complacency, because this league is tough and it can change very quickly.
Finally for me then, this magnificent run that you're on, the players have delivered for you. When do you sit down and think about what you want for next season? We've a lot of players who are out of contract at the moment and they're playing week in, week out for you.
The conversations have already been had a lot of the time. I said that during the last window, about where we need to get to next season, the players that are going to be out of contract, players that might want to move on, players that are under contract that will attract attention. You always need to be moving and evolving all the time. My full focus between now and the end of the season though is can we finish as high up the league as we can now. Clearly we need to cement top six first. Got the opportunity to try and win a trophy. That'll be difficult at the weekend, but that's still everything we've set out to do as a football club is still achievable. But until we have achieved it, the higher and more successful you can be, between now and the end of the season, gives us a much better opportunity to have real positive starts to next season and start getting the work done. And that's part of the challenge, that the recruitment team are always moving forward. They're always having these conversations to make sure, clearly from a manager's point of view, you want to be as organised as you can, as early as you can, but a lot of it will be probably determined on how strongly we can finish the season.
Has some of the players changed your mind in the performances in terms of, I want to keep him now, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, it's maybe time for them to move on?
No, I don't think it's a case of changing anybody's minds. I think every single time you pull on the jersey as a player, you've got that, everybody's judging you, whether that's to play for Hibs, whether that's to try and move, whether that's whatever your ambitions are in football. Everyone's got different, and a lot of players are in different stages of their career as well. A few of the more senior players maybe out of contract, maybe looking at what they're thinking about future-wise, and then some of the younger ones with ambitions to maybe try and move on, or whatever it looks like. I think they're all in different situations, different stages of their career. And it's probably about, as I've already said to them, every single time you pull on that jersey, the best thing you can do is put in the best level of performance. And if we're successful as a team, the individuals will get a lot of praise from that as well, and it helps you them individually, but collectively it puts everybody in a real good place.
Alan Stubbs says your win over Celtic almost 2 weeks ago has planted a seed of doubt in the Celtic players' minds. Do you agree with that?
I don't, as I've already said, one thing we're not going to do there is think this is going to be any easier because we beat them in the last game. I think what it does do is it shows that we have beaten them and we're capable of beating Celtic, because we've done that this year. But as I've already touched on, the games we played against them previously and the standard that they set every single week, it's a real difficult game. But as I've already touched on, the magic of the cup and everything that comes with that, I mean, you need to go along there and believe you can get a result. It is a one-off game where the rewards is the winners get to the next round of the cup and a trip to Hampden, and that has to be the focus of the players.